So the reason why I think that so many people deal with imposter syndrome is because the truth is, we're all imposters. I mean, there's always going to be someone better, someone stronger, someone faster, someone who works harder, someone who's more intelligent, someone who had a better upbringing and more chances than we did. And instead of seeing it as a sign that we don't belong, we should start looking at imposter syndrome for what it really is. What it really is it's telling us that we're human. It's telling us that we're alive. It's telling us that we're actually doing something, that we're getting outside of our comfort zone. It's where growth happens. It's where we start to see transformation. Because if we're not pushing ourselves, if we're not going beyond what we think we can do, then we're going to feel comfortable. It's actually the uncomfortableness that makes us know we're going in the right direction. That's why I don't think we should run away from imposter syndrome. We've got to embrace it. We've got to see it for what it truly is. We've got to realize that it is actually a guide telling us we're going in the right direction because we're all dealing with it. It's something that all of us struggle with it. Imposter syndrome usually isn't always about what we're doing right now, but it's a lot of times about the past. For me, it was growing up dyslexic. I remember losing a spelling bee. Not even losing, getting out. Let me just say that. I wasn't even in contention. I wasn't even a contender in this. I got out on like the first word and it was noon. I just stood up there going in, oh, in, oh. And I was spelling the word over and over and over again in a loop, but I could never complete it because I couldn't figure out how it ended. And that loss publicly in front of people told me I wasn't smart enough, told me that I couldn't perform. And I started to believe those lies. And especially when you put it into other classroom scenarios where you're asked to read out loud and you can't, or your friends are passing around a Calvin and Hobbes joke book and you just watch their timing, says that's how long it took them to read it in their heads before you laugh. And then you laugh when they would have laughed. I mean, that's the type of thing that really teaches you to be an imposter. And I ran from it for a long time. I hid from it. But what you really want to do if you want to get past imposter syndrome and start using it as a tool instead of treating it like an enemy is to identify where it comes from. Identify what it is. Now, I even thought, man, my family's probably not proud of me. I'm never succeeding. I'm not super successful, whatever. I can't read. Will I ever make it to college? Those kinds of things. But those were all lies. Those are all things I was telling myself. They weren't the truth. They weren't the reality of the situation. And we just have to make sure that with imposter syndrome, we identify it. We identify the lies. We call them out for what they really are because they're lies. They're not true. So I think step one, we gotta embrace it. Step two, we need to identify it. Step three, when it comes to utilizing or even weaponizing imposter syndrome, is knowing where your identity comes from. And it could be a lot of different things for a lot of people, but it needs to be something that's, here, check this out. Hold on. See these guys right here? Just grazing on the side of the road. Anyways, you'll probably see them as we keep walking. What you're needing is a foundation in your identity. And it can come from a lot of things. It can come from your family, it can come from your faith. It can come from your work, which I probably would say is not a great place to have your identity. For me, it comes from my faith. It comes from the belief that I'm made in God's image, that we're all made in His image, and that we all have value and something unique to offer. I think when I start to see that, I realize I don't have to be the smartest person in the room. I don't have to be the most educated because I'm always going to be able to learn something from somebody. It doesn't matter if they're way far ahead of me in their career or if they're way far behind me. I can still learn from them because of something so unique. One, I think that our value comes from who made us, but also our experiences, our voices. And so yes, even though you may not be the smartest person in the room, your voice is the most unique one in the room. And that is why we need to share. That's why we need to push forward. We need to go and say, you know what? I am kind of an imposter. I probably shouldn't be here. But don't let it silence your voice. Don't let it keep you from sharing what others need to hear. Don't let it keep you from acting and doing. Also, make sure you identify where it comes from. It's so much easier to spot the lies when you know their source. So don't let them root. And then lastly, I think one of the best ways to deal with imposter syndrome is just to do something. Like, just do it anyways. I remember the founder of the Leadville 100, he says, you're stronger than you think you are, and you can do more than you think you can. So when you're feeling weak, push harder. And I'm not talking hustle culture. I'm talking about inside. I'm talking about fighting the negativity, talking about fighting the lies, because you can do so much more than you think you can. You're so much more capable than you think you are. And if you just got past this wall, if you just pushed a little harder, what could you be capable of? How could you serve others? How could you change someone else's life, transform their life? So don't let your imposter syndrome shut you down. Use it as a tool. Embrace it, identify it, know your value, and go and do something hard. Because when you do hard things, you prove it wrong. And you say, you know what? This is who I visioned myself as. This is who I thought I would be. This is who I always wanted to be. But that can't happen if you're sitting still and scared, listening to the lies. I probably should end this video, but this building reminded me of something. I don't know if you can tell, but back there, unfinished building on the cliff right up here. We're about to see one too. Unfinished building right here. There's a lot of them around this area. And kind of reminded me of my own imposter syndrome, that I would create a lot of stuff. And I believed the lies that I would start a lot of things and never finish, that I couldn't follow through, that people couldn't rely on me. But I did it anyways. I pushed through. I said, no, I'm gonna learn how to be a reliable person. I'm gonna learn how to follow through. I'm gonna learn how to complete. And instead of seeing these buildings as shells of buildings that never got completed and remind me of who I used to be and get sad about it, I look at it and I'm grateful that's no longer who I am, that I've grown past it, and that now I can look at these and instead of being shut down by them, I'm empowered by them, because I know that that's not me anymore. I know that I can do more. I know that, yes, I am an imposter, and there will be people so much further beyond me. But the other truth is that we all deal with imposter syndrome. We all deal with it. And everybody's too worried about their own imposter syndrome to really care about you and your own deal, your own fears, because they're dealing with their own. Oh my goodness, there's so many goats here. So when you're feeling imposter syndrome, just embrace it, because remember that you're actually feeling it because you're pushing yourself outside your comfort zone, because you're doing hard things, because you're trying to make something transformational in this world. And because of that, I'm proud of you. So keep doing it.